Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, reveal the books I bought this week, and, if I screw up, a blooper reel. Laissez les bon temps rouler, y'all. I'm Victor, and you are watching The Comic Hero Show. Welcome to this week's edition of The Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Dudley, and I am The Comic Hero. Coming to you from Clint's Comics right here in Monroe, Louisiana. And this is the last episode of the show of Mardi Gras 2017. Ha! I got you! This is the last Mardi Gras themed Comic Hero tee that I'm wearing. And go along with it, this Mardi Gras hat. Mardi Gras officially ends a week from today. So when I do the show next week, I will not wear a Mardi Gras themed one because it's Ash Wednesday, and wearing Mardi Gras colors on Ash Wednesday is a no-no. And speaking of t-shirts, I just got started a few days ago with screen printing t-shirts, and hopefully in the coming weeks or the coming months, or depending on how many I can make, I will be selling some right here in the store and at Southern Realms Comics and Games in Ruston. Now, speaking of t-shirts, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, last week's episode, I asked, who are the 5 original X-Men? Well, the answers are Cyclops, Marvel Girl, also known as Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. And it doesn't matter exactly what order you answer them in, as long as you answer them. And I know some people that actually used their real names. I accepted those answers as well. And 9 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, they've entered their names in a drawing for a free tee, and that takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee of this week's episode of The Comic Hero Show is Jake Tabor from Haynesville, Louisiana. So congratulations, Jake. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right. Here's the question to next week's episode, and this one is very easy, especially if you follow Captain America. I know I asked a Captain America question 2 weeks ago, but I can guarantee. I tried to find one that would be very easy for folks to answer. So here it is. What branch of the U.S. military did the Steve Rogers Captain America serve? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. All right, now Chet Benner from Shreveport, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight. And now, this one doesn't feature any characters. However, it does feature legendary comic book creators. And they both created a lot of characters and books together. But eventually one of them ended up branching out and making a name for themselves in another publication. Representing Marvel, we have Stan Lee. And representing Marvel and DC, we have Jack Kirby. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Stan Lee versus Jack Kirby. Stan Lee is a comic book writer and former president and chairman of Marvel Comics, who has co-created several characters in the Marvel Universe. Jack Kirby was a comic book writer and artist who co-created characters in the Marvel Universe and later co-created and solely created characters in the DC Universe and independent publishers. Who will win? We obviously can't have these two fighting each other, so let's have their creations fight for them. Stan Lee's creations, or should I say co-creations, will be characters like the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Daredevil, and the Hulk. Jack Kirby's creations will be characters like Captain America, OMAC, the New Gods, and Darkseid.
This fight would be evenly matched until midway through, when a majority of the characters representing Lee would suddenly disappear. Lee would ask, "What just happened? Where did they all go?" Kirby would reply by saying, "They're gone because I create those characters along with you, Stan. You can't expect them to play favorites with us." The only character left representing Lee is Spider-Man. All the characters representing Kirby would deliver a beatdown on old Webhead unlike no other. Kirby would then conclude by saying, "You may be the man, Stan, but I'll always be the king." Jack Kirby wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight. And, I kind of figured, the king is always going to be greater than the man. But if you have a fight request for future episodes, contact info is down there. All right, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Nova number 2. Now, this is the second issue of the current volume, and this time, Sam Alexander isn't the only Nova. Richard Rider, and it pretty much stars like the same characters from the two previous volumes. That's Sam Alexander, his mom, and his sister. And then Richard Rider, and also his, with additions to Richard Rider and his parents. It's a great book.
And it was all by itself. I opened it.
All right, first up are 2 issues of the same book, and that book is Titans. And I have Titans number 7 and Titans number 8. Now, in previous issues, in the opening story arc entitled The Return of Wally West, the Wally Flash ends up saving the rest of his teammates and the New 52 version of Linda Park by taking down Abracadabra and sending him back into time limbo. He pretty much gave them the gave them like a little time to save them before he killed them all. And he does he goes beyond the speed of light, and he takes care of business. All right, next up is Cyborg number 9. Now, I'm still a little behind on this book, but what I can tell you, though, is that there's a guy masquerading as Dr. Silas Stone, which is Cyborg's father, and he is pretty much taken over Star Labs in Detroit. And not only that, but Cyborg's ex also becomes a cyborg also. All right, next up is Captain America's Sam Wilson number 17. Now, this book stars Sam Wilson as Captain America, and this does not disappoint. Now it all starts off with really nobody likes this Captain America, mainly because he takes political stances, which Steve Rogers is never about. He always sides with the president. He always stays neutral, but it hasn't been easy. He ended up training a new Falcon, and I mean, some kid from Arizona. I mean, he's really been going through a lot. Even in Captain America, in Civil War II, he went up against a U.S. agent, and yeah. Next up is Teen Titans number 4. Now, this is part 4 of the opening story arc entitled Damian Knows Best. He's pretty much round up he's pretty much retooling the Teen Titans. He's recruited Raven, Starfire, Kid Flash, and Beast Boy. Oh, dang! How can I forget about Beast Boy? But anyway, he did it in the most grotesque way. He kidnapped them and dampened their powers, which is something Batman would never do. But he's doing this because he found out that his grandfather Ra's al Ghul is back from the dead, and he's up to no good, and somebody has to stop them. All right, next up is Wonder Woman number 17. This is part 2 of The Truth. Now, Wonder Woman end up in a near catatonic state while she and Steve Trevor were out somewhere, and then she ends up being admitted into a psychiatric ward in London under the name Diana Prince. And Steve Trevor is trying to gather up both Dr. Barbara Minerva and Etta Candy, and they're trying to take down some bad guys. And right now, it's not looking good. All right, next up is Back to the Future number 17. Now, in the last story arc entitled Who is Marty McFly, some doctor is leading Marty to believe that he does not belong in the 1986. It's not 1985 anymore. It's 1986. It doesn't belong in the timeline, and he and Doc are trying to take him down, which they do.
Yeah, it also may be that it's been so long.
All right, next up is Action Comics number 974. This is part 2 of Mild Mannered. Now, in the last issue, Lois tries to delve into who this Clark Kent really is, and they go on some kind of sting where Lois goes undercover, but then Clark for some reason ends up blowing her cover, but they still take down the crooked cop and then these other guys in this restaurant. They still take care of business, but then Clark does the unthinkable. He asks Lois out for dinner. Now keep in mind, this is Lois from the pre-Flashpoint DC universe. This isn't Lois in New 52. She's dead. And meanwhile, Superman is inside his Fortress of Solitude, and he finds out that Steel and Superwoman, aka Lana Lang from the New 52 universe, has somehow gotten in. And it's all because Lana Lang is dying. And then finally, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, number 15. This is part 2 of the Hope story arc, and they're out to find the lone Blue Lantern. Well, because here's the thing: in the last story arc entitled Bottled Light, they take down Larfleeze, but also both the Green Lantern and the Sinestro Corps take down Larfleeze, but instead the Sinestro Corps are no more. They're now called Yellow Lanterns. I mean, his daughter is pretty much trying to. She's pretty much trying to make right of all the wrongs that Sinestro did. And then Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, and then Sayid and Ganthet end up coming back, escaping Hal Jordan's ring, and that's how they took down Larfleeze. And they're trying to look for Saint Walker, who at this point is the only Blue Lantern. All right, that's 10 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,769. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and here's the question again for our free tee for next week's episode. What branch of the U.S. military did the Steve Rogers Captain America serve? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode. And congratulations to Jake Tabor from Haynesville, Louisiana, who won a free tee in this week's episode. All right, I just found out about another guest, the long list of guests at Louisiana Comic-Con in April. Karen Ashley will be there. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, she played Aisha, the Yellow Ranger from Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So that makes 2 former Power Rangers that are going to be at Louisiana Comic-Con. And speaking of which, this is not Louisiana Comic-Con related, it's actually Mississippi Comic-Con related, but David Yost, who played Billy, the original Blue Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, will be at Mississippi Comic-Con in Jackson. Now, as to whether I'm going to go to that one, I have not decided yet. And also, at Southern Realms Comics and Games in Ruston, they're going to have Coast to Coast Con on March 4th, and they're going to have some they're going to have some guests via satellite, and one of them is one of my all-time favorite comics artists, one of the greatest comics artists of all time. I'm talking about Jim Lee. He will be a guest at Coast to Coast Con at Southern Realms Comics and Games in Ruston on March 4th.
What it'll do is it'll have.
All right, birthday time. Happy birthday yesterday to one of my good friends and a loyal fan of the show, Mike Hart. And happy birthday today to congratulations to my good friend Thea Tyler from Homer. She just welcomed her third child into the world only hours ago. So welcome to the world, Hunter Gage. Got myself another little comic hero. All right, happy birthday tomorrow to my good friend and loyal fan of the show, Bill Scarborough. Happy birthday tomorrow to my good friend who I've been band with at both Bipsy and ULM, Danielle Atkins. Happy birthday tomorrow to the former band director at ULM and current band director at the University of South Alabama, Dr. Jason Reinhardt. And happy birthday on Friday to my band director at junior college at Bossier Parish Community College, Dr. Michael Hart. All right, this is the last episode of the last Mardi Gras episode of the Comic Hero Show. Really had fun wearing some of these Mardi Gras themed Comic Hero tees, and next year I'm going to be wearing some brand spanking new ones. I'm going to retire this shirt and also the shirt that I wore last week, the shirt that I wore in the Comic Hero Show Extra over at Excalibur Comics in Shreveport, and also the shirt that I wore on the 150th episode of the show. And you're probably wondering, Vic, why are you doing that? Because I'm going to start screen printing all of my shirts. That's right, folks. And not just my shirts, but shirts that I make for customers. From now on, all the shirts are going to be screen printed. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 154 right back here at Clint's Comics. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and laissez-les bon temps rouler. Aye! Now, right after I left Clint's Comics, I came back here to do the checklist, and I realized that I already had Cyborg number 9. So, the count is off. The count is not 7,769. It's actually 7,768. But right after I got off work, I went to Books A Million and ended up finding one book. And that book is Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows number 1. Now, I've been a little hesitant about reading this, but I decided I wanted to because there's been so much high acclaim from the Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows miniseries that occurred during Secret Wars. I read every issue of that and was blown away. And I figured, okay, why not this? I mean, it's not in continuity to the regular Marvel universe. It's just they're doing the same thing with this that they did with that Marvel did with X-Men '92. They're making it a non-continuity series, and it stars Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and their daughter Annie Watson. And I am so looking forward to reading this. So, with that, now the count is at 7,769. But then when I was at Books A Million, I didn't stop there. I ended up buying 2 more books, so here they are. First up is Spider-Woman number 8. Now, this is the first issue after the Spider-Women crossover event with Silk and Spider-Gwen. And I'm very behind on this book in terms of buying it. But what I can tell you is that Jessica Drew is a mom. At the very beginning of the series, she is very pregnant. And, you know, a lot of folks, including me, were trying to figure out, okay, who is the father? We find out that the father is anonymous because she was actually impregnated via artificial insemination. Something that she willingly wanted to do herself because she wanted to be a mom. And then, of course, in Spider-Women, the Spider-Women crossover, she goes universe hopping with Spider-Gwen and Silk. And that story arc was amazing. And then U.S. Avengers number 2. Now, in the first issue, we see the group. It's the leader of the group is Roberto da Costa, aka Sunspot. And he leads a ragtag, well, not ragtag, but more of a military-esque group. I mean, that features Cannonball, Dr. Tony Ho as the new Iron Patriot, Ayako Yonikin, who goes by the codename Enigma, Squirrel Girl, now, and then Captain America from the future, and then a brand new Red Hulk. Now, folks, this Red Hulk that's in this book is not General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross like I thought it was. It's actually General Robert L. Maverick, who could actually change into the, like the guy before him, General Ross, can actually change into the Hulk whenever he feels like it. But he does it in a different way. And it's part of this opening story called Skull Rocket, a Skullocracy. Now, it features a Red Skull-esque character, but except his skull isn't red, it's gold. And the first issue is very good. I can't wait to read the second. All right, now, with that count, that now brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,771. All right, see you next week for episode 154.